Welcome once more, readers and viewers of Embassy Direct, to our journey through the world. Today, we feature one of my favorite destinations. It's about its food, history, landscape, music, but overall, about its people. Its indigenous name translates to Moon Lake, is what best describes it, as well as the lyrics of one of its songs, México en la piel. With no further delay, allow me to introduce Natalia Rosa from Asata, who will today moderate our distinguished panel. Natalia.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Thank you so much for joining us, and Rodrigo for that very warm welcome. Greetings, colleagues from our Sara members. And today, as Rodrigo said, we are talking all things Mexico. So I'm very excited to have a great panel of experts who are going to be talking about this destination today. And I'm going to introduce them briefly to you now before we begin our session. You guys know the drill. It's a webinar, so the Q&A folder at the bottom of your screen if you'd like to share any questions. And we would love to take your questions throughout the webinar, and we'll pose them at the end to our panelists who come from very varied sectors within Mexico. So this really is a golden opportunity for you to get every ounce of value about the destination going forward to help you sell the destination better. It is a jam-packed session. We are going to be on the call for about an hour and 10 minutes, and we are recording the session as well. So please feel free to share that with your colleagues after the fact. So let's get straight into introducing our panel. We have Ambassador Sara Valdes Bolano, who's the Mexican ambassador to South Africa. Ambassador Bolano has a bachelor degree in social science, a master's from the University of Paris and Bourgogne University. She's been a career diplomat since 1990, and her previous appointments include ambassador to Vietnam. She was the Director General for Africa and the Middle East at the Mexican Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Director of Mexican Cultural Institute in Paris, so she can give us a few pointers on Mexican culture, the DCM at Embassy to Ireland, and political counselor at the Mexican Mission to the European Union. So Ambassador, we are privileged to have you in South Africa. You have very varied experience across the world. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Next up, I'd like to introduce you to Ernesto Velázquez, who is the Director of Promotion at the Secretary of Tourism of the Government of Mexico. Ernesto is a tourism marketing expert with a decade of experience promoting destinations. He has been the Director of Promotion for the Mexican Secretary of Tourism since 2019, overseeing global campaigns and events. And previously, he was with the Mexican Tourism Board, executing marketing initiatives worldwide. So again, a wealth of experience in terms of marketing destination Mexico. Next up, we have Enrique Calderón Fernandez, who is the VP Upscale and Luxury at Posadas. He's just waved at you. Hi, Enrique. And he is a seasoned hotel executive with over 30 years of experience at Grupo Posadas. He rose through the ranks from sales director to COO and VP of Upscale and Luxury, and has played a pivotal role in growing the Fiesta Americana brand and overseeing sales for 80 plus hotels. Busy man, Enrique. He's also been instrumental in shaping sales, marketing, and overall commercial strategy for Posadas, and he's going to bring a perspective on the accommodation sector for us in a little while. And then, of course, a familiar face to all of you. You will know her well. We have Fazila Saheb, who's the sales manager for Air France KLM. Fazila is an accomplished regional sales manager, worked at Air France KLM Group, managing sales teams and overseeing operations in South Africa and Africa. She's deep experience in the airline industry and is a skilled negotiator who builds strong partnerships and delivers sales through strategic thinking and motivating teams. We may have one more panelist screaming in at the end, and I will introduce him if he does arrive. But to kick us off, I'd like to just share this wonderful video that I was sent by Ernesto a little bit earlier today. And it really, I mean, to say it paints a picture is a good way of explaining things, because it is the most colorful video of Mexico. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it started here. Straight into the questions then, and I'll start with Ambassador. You've now been in South Africa, you understand Mexico implicitly, you have promoted Mexico around the world. What would you say makes Mexico an attractive tourism destination for the South African traveler? Tell us a little bit about why South Africans should fall in love with Mexico.
Sure, Natalia, thank you very much. And I think the video is on.
Okay, great. Let's play that first, shall we, if you don't mind?
Sure.
There is no sound, Natalia. Sorry for interrupting.
Wow, that was epic. Thank you, Ernesto, for sharing. Ambassador, that's a very hard act to follow, but I know you're going to bridge this beautifully for us. So apart from what we have just seen in this video, the incredible color, the people, the vibrancy, the culture, tell us why South Africans should fall in love with Mexico.
Thank you, Natalia. I would like to thank you as a representative of ASATA and, of course, our friends from Embassy Direct for hosting this encounter. Mexico and South Africa are at the same time so similar and so different. And I think that's what makes it fascinating. you go to, a South African goes to Mexico, and he will feel at home. There is a similar vibrancy. It's natural and cultural diversity that we share. Makes it, strangely enough, you know it's different. You know you've seen nothing like that, but at the same time, you feel welcome, and you don't feel an outsider or an audience. You are part of that experience. And I must say, it's also what we Mexicans feel when we come to South Africa. We don't feel simply as simple spectators and a simple audience. You are part of your experience, that it can be culture, it can be nature, it can be simply relax in a beach, a lot of partying for younger people. All that is possible. And the person is part of the experience. I think that's what makes it a wonderful experience. And that's why we are seeing the figures both ways, of South Africans visiting Mexico and Mexicans visiting South Africa, increasing every year.
So obviously we want to grow those numbers, and we always say the first thing to doing that is, yes, destination promotion, but if there is no access into a destination, it makes it very difficult for us to visit. So Ambassador, if I may stay with you and just talk a little bit about the visa situation for South Africans. We are very used to getting visas to visit many destinations in the world. As a South African, if I wanted to visit Mexico, what would I require in terms of visa requirements to come to Mexico?
So, first of all, if you are a big traveler, you possibly, Natalia, already have either a US, UK, Schengen, EU Schengen, Japan, Canada visa. If that is the case, you do not need a visa to travel to Mexico, as long as any of the visas, or if you're a resident in any of these countries, you don't need a visa to travel to Mexico. If you don't have any of those visas, or they're expired, or whatever, you can request a visa, a tourism visa, for up to 180 days, which is a lot, to visit Mexico. The visa is free, but you do have to go through the process. And here in Pretoria, at the Embassy of Mexico, our consular section will be happy to support. And I am counting on my colleagues to putting up our website explaining exactly how to request a visa to travel to Mexico, in case you are non-resident and you don't have a valid visa for either Canada, Japan, US, UK, or Schengen, EU Schengen space.
Great, thank you for that. I'll bring Fazila in here, because part of the access conversation is about getting there, right? And from an Air France KLM perspective, as a South African, tell me a little bit about the access that I could look forward to, both in terms of Johannesburg, and as a Cape Townian who wants to fly direct. You know what we are like. Tell us, Fazila, how do I get to Mexico using your carriers?
Thank you, Natalia, and hello to everybody. But the great news is Air France, KLM, two fantastic brands who've been in this country for a very, very long time. We fly daily from Johannesburg, Joburg, Paris, as well as Amsterdam, and from Cape Town, KLM flies daily. Air France is seasonal from Cape Town, so we fly from October, covering the summer, South African summer, and on to Mexico, both from Amsterdam and Paris. We have daily flights between Paris and Mexico City. We have 14 flights a day, and from Amsterdam to Mexico, there's 7 flights a day. So accessibility to get to Mexico from South Africa is really fantastic. And it is one of the quickest routes because you connect pretty quickly within Europe. Overnight flight from South Africa, and that really makes it a lot easier to travel to leaving South Africa to get to Mexico. On the way back, KLM is a daylight flight, but often that's even better because you connect, you know, it's a through connection. So it becomes a one-day trip as opposed to two. With Air France, it is then an overnight flight, but of course, who doesn't mind spending a day in Paris ultimately to get back home? So connectivity and availability is always accessible on both Air France and KLM to Mexico itself.
Amazing.
And
Okay,
beyond.
well, while you were chatting, we have had our fifth panelist join us. So I'm just going to introduce him quickly. And we have Roberto Travitz. Oh, Roberto, I'm not going to pronounce your surname properly, so I'm going to ask you to do that. Roberto is a distinguished tourism professional holding an economics degree. He has gained experience in public and private sector, serving as the Secretary of Tourism and Culture for Puebla and President of Asatur and GMA. He is the director at Petra Group. So he is going to bring us a unique perspective from a tour operator perspective. Roberto, welcome.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here, Natalia, and all the group and all the panelists.
Thank you so much for joining us. And perhaps I can, since you have the mic essentially, perhaps I could hand over to you specifically, Roberto, if that is okay. And, you know, as a tour operator, as somebody who works in the channel, what are some of the top recommended hidden gem destinations that you think as South African travel agents we should have our radars on when it comes to Mexico? So not the stuff that we would know automatically, but the stuff we really, really should be telling our customers, the destinations our customers should know about.
Okay, thank you, Natalia. Mexico is a great country, north, south, east, west. Every place, every state has something to show to everyone. Probably, as you know, the beaches of Mexico are top around the world. But if we go to directly different destinations, I will think as Chiapas, the state of Chiapas. The nature and the Mayan heritage is quite important there. And not that many people know this place. Also the state of Chihuahua with the Copper Canyon. It's something that you cannot imagine the beauty that we have there. With a great trip around the state in train, connecting the state of Sinaloa to the state of Chihuahua, that will be really something that people will love. And then, of course, Puebla. Puebla, just to give you an idea, the downtown Puebla, they have more than 2,300 heritage buildings in the first quarter of the city. So that's a heritage that we have in Mexico. That's something that always will be important for us to show. But that's not only the things that we can talk. We can talk about the state of Oaxaca. Also, the state of Oaxaca, the capital, the beaches in the state. It's something that people should go there and visit. The state of Oaxaca. You have the state of Campeche. Something that is important in Mexico, and always I will promote the heritage that we have. Why? Because it's everything. It's all around us. Just to give you an idea, Mexico has two heritage of the mixed heritage of the humanity. One in the state of Campeche, Calakmul, and the other one in the state of Puebla. Just to give you an idea, the biosphere of Tehuacan, Cuicatlan. Places that you will not imagine the beauty, you will not imagine what is this and what we have in Mexico. Another idea, in the world, it's only 39, and Mexico has 2. So are places that you really should come to see the Calakmul with the Mayan heritage and the biosphere of Tehuacan, Cuicatlan, that we will have 2 things that are quite important. One of the things is the place that was the corn domesticated for the first time. And many years ago, just to give you an idea, it was an ocean there. And now it's a desert. So really, many things I can explain you will get impressed about that. So Mexico has many things. Of course, the capital, Mexico City. It's a city that everyone has to see it. The museums that we have in Mexico City, the anthropological museums, the Casa of Frida Kahlo, it's places that you should go there. No, so Mexico, it's Mexico and many things to visit. This is just a little blink of what you could see. Yeah, exactly.
So Roberto, you said Mexico has everything, and we often have this conversation in South Africa about, you know, a world in one country. It makes it very difficult to promote a destination when you have everything like you have. So I guess my question comes through to the marketer in the room here, Ernesto. If I was a travel agent and I wanted to really position that one thing that South Africans need to walk away with, what's that one piece of advice that you would give a traveler visiting the country for the first time, the one destination that they must visit, the one thing that they must think about when they are going to be visiting Mexico?
Thank you, Natalia. If I may, I just want to make a brief getting, please. Good day, everyone. My name is Ernesto Velázquez, Director of Promotion, and I here represent the Secretary of Tourism of the government in Mexico. On behalf of the Secretary of Tourism, Miguel Torruco, I extend his warmest greetings, and I am sure that he will be joining us in person absolutely in a future opportunity. In addition, the Deputy Secretary of Tourism, Humberto Nunes Haddad, and my General Director, Emmanuel Rey, also send their fraternal greetings. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today, and I'm sure that this opportunity to be with our South African friends is especially meaningfully for for us to given the strong relation between our two nations. I would like to thank our host, Embassy Direct Magazine, and you, Natalia, thank you for having us today. And also, I cordially greet and sincerely thank for the invitation to our Excellency, Madam Ambassador Sara Valdes. Thank you so much. And all our friends from Mexico and South Africa. Well, Natalia, answering your question, as you can see in the video, Mexico have unique wonders and experience that you can enjoy and discover all over the country. The advice that I can give you is that enjoy Mexico. No, there is 32 reasons to come to Mexico. There are 32 states that you can visit. If you put the map of Mexico over the map of Europe, it is a huge continent. It is from Ireland to Greece. So there is a lot of things that you can do in Mexico. No, I think the main advice is that enjoy all over as you can. No, Mexico is a mixture of colors and flavors, and that Mexico has all kinds of attraction, sun, mountains, jungle, deserts, and that's why tourism has been taken as a policy of social reconciliation. So I think it's that I can say, Natalia.
Okay, before I move on to Enrique, I'm just going to ask Roberto to weigh in, because the destination is huge, as you've just illustrated to us. It is massive, and from the perspective of a South African visiting Mexico for the first time, he or she will probably want to work with an expert travel agent in South Africa, who then works with a DMC or a tour operator in Mexico specifically. Roberto, are there specific circuits that you as a company would put together to help unpack certain areas of the destination? How would you make it easy for a South African to navigate this massive area? Are there, like in South Africa, we have Cape Town, Johannesburg, Kruger. Is there a circuit that is a very typical circuit that people would do in Mexico? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, of course. at least for the long way of the travel that you will do from South Africa to Mexico, I would recommend at least 10 days in Mexico, at least. If you can stay 2 weeks, that will be fantastic. The average of the people traveling is about 16 days. So in this kind of trips, long way trips, long haul trips. Mexico, they have a tour that is quite important, starting in Mexico City and going to the south. No, you will pass through Puebla, Oaxaca, then you will take Chiapas, then you will go to Yucatan and finishing in Quintana Roo. That's a way that you can do it. And you can enjoy many things of Mexico all around these different states. But that's why something that is quite important for me is the profile of the passengers, to understand what they will like to do. Because if they want to go to Chihuahua, Chihuahua is in the north. And just to give you the size of Chihuahua, Chihuahua is the same space as Spain. So you decide what you want. If you go to the north, you have the state of Chihuahua. You go to the south, you have the different things. That's why Mexico is so important destination, tourism destination, because we really have everything. And depending what they want to see. Mexico is not a one-time travel, one-time trip. It's for coming back and back and back. That's really the thing, because probably you will come to Mexico, and of course you will go to any of our beaches. You should go to one of our beaches. You go to the Caribbean, to the Pacific, to the Mar de Cortés, all the destinations, all the different beaches. You will be amazed just seeing what we have. So probably I will say, starting in for something that a lot of people do, is starting in Mexico City and going to the south. That's something that I could recommend to many people, because you will pass through 6, 7 states and you will see really an authentic Mexico.
That is very valuable advice. Thank you, Roberto and Enrique. I'm going to come over to you now to talk about the kind of accommodation aspect. So what are some of the tips that our travel agent audience should be thinking about to easily access the right property for South African guests? What should they be looking for, in your expert opinion, as a hospitality professional?
I will think, I would like to share that right now the travelers are looking for, for a huge variety of experiences. That sometimes what you're probably looking is that probably in your mind when you're thinking to go to Greece, it's more like culture and beaches, and when you want to go to France, you're thinking in gastronomy and all, and those historical buildings. And when you think, what will you find when you go to a country as Mexico? I would say that there's a lot of culture, but there's a huge variety of gastronomy. You can also make your route only thinking in gastronomy and make the combination with all the historical aspects of the Mexican culture. And also you can tie that with certain icons of the Mexican culture, like everybody knows around the world that you probably, in your mind comes the image of a mariachi, with the charro dress, with a big sombrero. And you can also visit also, the tequila is very iconic for Mexico, and the mezcal now is becoming very popular, and some other beverage that come also from the agave or from some cactus plants. So when you are thinking about discovering Mexico, you can include all those aspects while you're traveling in Mexico. So, of course, you're gonna see beautiful places, a lot of museums, churches, and a lot of historical buildings, and you can see all the transition that comes when Mexico was conquered by the Spanish country. But not also that, the mixture of the culture give us this magnificent architecture that comes from the conquered era up to the modern era right now. So you can see all that history moving along the years, and also you have that combination with gastronomy, with art. There's tons of gallery, there's a lot of architecture, there's a lot of you can also make a trip in all the wine regions, so you can see all the different variety of wines that we have in Mexico. There's one in the north, there's one in the center, and also adventure. You know? There's a lot of places that you can combine adventure, like going in the jungle, like doing ATVs, vehicles. You can also do kayaking, you can do hiking. So it depends on what is the kind of adventure that you want to have in Mexico. While you're discovering Mexico, there's tons of opportunities that you can find the most amazing adventure for your trip in Mexico.
So just on the point of gastronomy, Enrique, South Africa to eat, maybe a little bit too much. So food is very important to us. Culturally, it's very important to us. And you work in the hospitality industry. So I'm curious if you could perhaps tell me a little bit about experience from a culinary perspective that South Africans could enjoy. You mentioned the wine. We also like
the Mexican gastronomy. And the 4 regions that are most important for the Mexican gastronomy. The other one is Puebla, that it's going from Mexico City all the way to the Pacific coast. And the other one is Oaxaca, and the other one is Yucatan, is the Mayan cuisine. So those are the 4 pillars of the Mexican gastronomy. Nevertheless, they're like in Jalisco or in the northern part of Mexico, and also a central region that we call Bajío. But that what is very important is that those 4 important cuisines has a mixture of the 2 cultures, no? The Aztec culture or the Indian culture that was in Mexico when the Spanish came, and also the Spanish nuns and priests that came to Mexico. They start evolving that cuisine that it's very, very richful in ingredients, very complex in their preparation, and is very well appreciated worldwide. But nevertheless, if you travel in Mexico City, you can find also Mexican restaurants. I think the offer that you can find in the destinations in the big cities, City or Cancun or Los Cabos, you can find probably all the kind of cuisines that you can see worldwide, and you can find the most worldwide well-recognized restaurants that have their branches in Mexico, and also a new emerging gastronomic culture with the Mexican chefs are traveling all over the world. Now they have their own signature kitchens, and we have probably more than 10 restaurants that are ranked in the top 50 of the worldwide most recognized restaurants. So that experience is amazing. And you can also tie that with the mezcal tradition, the tequila tradition, and of course the wine tradition. And you can see those 4 regions. You can visit the big cities, and you can also start going from the north to the south to the center of Mexico and visit all the vineyards and wine houses, and see the different flavors according the different grounds that we have in the country. So probably, I mean, you can have you can probably experience more than 30 different restaurants and 30 different types of cuisine, pairing with mezcal, tequilas, beer, because beer in Mexico it's great. Everybody knows Corona. Everybody knows Dos Equis all over the world. And there's also artisanal beers that you can mix it and pair it with a great menu that you can have in one of the many restaurants that you can find in Mexico. And in terms of accommodation, if I may, I will share a presentation. I don't know if you can see it.
We can't see the presentation. Are you sharing? Here we go. Yes,
Okay.
it's up. You can see it.
Okay, well, this is Grupo Posadas is one of the most well-recognized companies in years, and start with the first hotel in Mexico City. But I would say that probably all the people in the hotel business in Mexico, at some point, at some part, they work in Posadas, at least at the beginning of their career or in the middle of their careers, but everybody has been related to Posadas. Posadas has 9 hotel brands, has 190 hotels, almost 30,000 rooms, and we have present in 60 destinations all over Mexico, and we work with all the major travel agents. And we can say that Mexico is the first thing is on the top 10 of the destinations of the world, which is a powerful reason to visit Mexico. We have a lot of visitors in more than 40 million every year. I mean, without the pandemic effect, and we have the highest growth in tax in the last years. We have top 3 airports, that it's Mexico City, Cancun, and Los Cabos, with a lot of international connections, 49 beach destinations, 177 colonial cities and pueblos mágicos, and 5 main city destinations. And we as Posadas, but I'm showing this map of Mexico, that you can see that in the north and even in the south part, we have present in, I mean, with all our brands, that you can have either a very luxury hotels or a very affordable accommodations, and you can experience all the, I mean, the most relevant attractions in Mexico. And you can see a little views like this is one of our flagships, Live Aqua in San Miguel de Allende. San Miguel de Allende has been named the best destination, worldwide destination to visit for Travel and Leisure magazine. And you can see the contrast of Monterrey, which is one of the industrial cities in the northern part of Mexico. You can also see the Fiesta Americana Gran Coral Beach in Cancun, which is one of the top resorts in Cancun, very luxurious. And also the Gran Fiesta Americana in Oaxaca, where you can see how the combination of the colonial architecture matches with the experience that every West can have when they visit such a magnificent city as Oaxaca. We have Tulum, beautiful hotels in Tulum, where you can experience the relevance of the beach destination and as well the forest. And in the big cities, we have like Fiesta Americana Mexico City, we have Fiesta Americana Condesa Cancun, and we have this beautiful hacienda, which is a hotel that, according to the history, this hacienda is going to be making 500 years next year, because in 1524, Hernan Cortes gave this hacienda to his lady, lover, was called La Malinche. And we were going to have a big celebration of 500 years birthday next year. And if you want to have a deep tropical experience, you can be nestled into the forest of Cojulich in the Mayan Riviera. You can visit Mérida, which is one of the greatest colonial cities in Mexico. And we also have Fiesta Inns, which is like a four-star hotels that we have more than 70 all over Mexico. So if you are looking for a more affordable lodging, that would be your best option. Or we can have also Gamma and One, which is it's an economy class hotels, and that will be, I mean, the best combination if you want to go and explore all over Mexico and not spending too much in lodging. No? And if you want to learn more about how all the portfolio, the rates, whatever, and also the experience that are available in any of our hotels, you can visit Fiesta Americana Travel as a travel agent, and you can find a lot of information about each destination, the maps, the attractions, and the experience that we have. But that also can give you the idea of the level of hospitality that we have in Mexico. And I think for all the people that are looking right now and joining us today, Mexico has a lot of options, a lot of attraction, and it will be one of the top destinations if you want to spend like 3 weeks in one trip to make your airline ticket worth it, and you will have a cultural immersion that will be with you all your life. So I would recommend that not less than 10 days, no, and probably more than 21 would be my best bet for a trip to Mexico City.
Yeah, I think the word that sticks out at me at the moment is diversity. And, you know, we had Roberto talking about the beach experience. We've had you talk to us quite in depth about the cultural experience. And I'm going to just pull Ernesto, if I may, into this conversation because, and I love this slide, Ernesto. I'm going to steal it, but hopefully you can see my screen here where you say Mexico is more than sun and beach. So Ernesto, you're going to tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about some of the new products that we could potentially be looking at promoting in the South African market. You just tell me to move forward on the slides and I will drive.
Sure, Natalia, thank you. Like the slide says, Mexico is more than sun and beach. Enrique and Roberto have already said that. Now, first of all, you must know that Mexico is a country of great diversity. Mexico is one of the 5 most diversity countries in the world. Next, Natalia, please. Thank you. 12% of the species that live in the world are found in Mexico. Next, please. As Enrique and Roberto said previously, Mexico is also a land of World Heritage, 35 World Heritage sites that ranks Mexico as first in Latin America and 7th worldwide. Next, please, Natalia. Well, next, please. I will give few comments about new tourism products that should help improve the tourism flow between South Africa and Mexico. First of all, the Mayan train will benefit 5 states, including Yucatan, Quintana Roo, Campeche, Tabasco, and Chiapas, with more than 965 miles of railroad, 34 train stations, and 170 high impact tourism experiences all over the route of the train. Next, please. What you will see is the type of the stations. Next, please, Natalia. The type of station of the Mayan train. They will have handcraft shops. Tourism will find all kind of information about the region, and it will be very successful for us. Next, please. This is another illustration from Tulum Station. Well, we talked about air connectivity a few moments ago. So let me give you another good news for you and us. On the 21st of March this year, we celebrate the opening of the Felipe Ángeles new international airport. Now Mexico City has 3 international airports that constitute altogether the metropolitan airport system. First, the Mexico City International Airport, the Toluca Airport, and now the new Felipe Ángeles international airport. It absolutely will help to increase our connectivity with all our main destination, and we hope that with South Africa too. If we talk about South Africa, I will give a brief comment. We don't have direct flights to Mexico, but this is one of the reasons this webinar is such as important for us. We don't need direct flights to increase the tourism flow, and as you will know, without tourism there is not connect. Without connectivity there is no tourism. Even though that's why we need to keep working together to make the relation between South Africa and Mexico growing better and faster every year. Give you some thoughts about the arrival of South Africans to Mexico last year. The arrival of tourists living in South Africa was 7,119 tourists, and the economic benefit generated by these visitors was $7.9 million. So that's why it is such as important to have direct connectivity with you. Continue with the presentation, please, Natalia. The next, thank you. Another unique experience that you can live in Mexico is our celebration of the Day of the Dead. Close the day. Every year, our Day of the Dead parade takes place in Mexico City, which was inspired by the parade shown in James Bond film Spectre. This is a slide with photos of the parade. And now about magical towns. Mexico has 177 magical towns. One of them next the island of Mezcaltitan in the state of Nayarit. And you can see some picture of the island. Also, thank you, Natalia, we have 32 magical neighborhoods. To celebrate the neighborhoods and the magical towns. Next, please. In November, we will celebrate the 5th trade show of Pueblos Mágicos, of magical towns in Hidalgo, one of the states of Mexico. And also, next, please, a couple of days ago, we successfully held the 2nd International Trade Show of Pueblos Mágicos in Los Angeles, California. It was a real success. 142 magical towns participate in the trade show. With the participation and also participate 180 hosted buyers, 170 professional visitors, and 427 entrepreneurs that share all the things that you can enjoy in our magical towns. And both shows, the national and the international, are a unique opportunity to meet with the 177 magical towns and learn about the cultural offer. Next, please. The other trade show that we have been organizing every year since 1975 is the Tianguis Turístico México, the biggest trade event of the tourism industry in Mexico and also in Latin America. Next year, we will celebrate it in Acapulco, Guerrero, in the state of Guerrero, from 12 to 15 of March. And this year also we celebrated in Mexico City, and we received more than 2,300 buyers from 91 countries of the world, and generate more than 88,000 business meetings. This is to illustrate why the importance of our trade show. Thank you, Natalia. Obviously, you are all invited to join us the next year. About tourism products, Mexico is always innovating, and the one that you are seeing in the screen is what was one apparition just like Alcatraz in San Francisco, has now become a museum located in the middle of an island where visitors arrive from Mazatlan and San Blas, and the name is Islas Marias. It is a place for nature lovers located 62 miles from the coast in the Pacific Ocean, and you can spend a day enjoying its 8 tourist attractions. And next, please, Natalia. This is another picture. Next, please. And to end this presentation, used to say that sports and tourism have always been the perfect match, and we are promoting our destinations through high-level sports events like the Mexico City Grand Prix for the Formula 1, some for the runners, the Mar and the Gran Carrera del Desierto, and all others that you can enjoy in our beautiful destinations. Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you, Ernesto. I really love those pueblos mágicas. I can't pronounce it the way you do, obviously, but I think that's such a clever idea, and I can imagine that they are absolutely magnificent to visit, and it's such a good marketing concept. We do have a question from Johnson, who wanted to know when. He said Maya de Cinco, but I think it's Cinco de Mayo. When is Cinco de Mayo? 5th of May? Is that when the festival is?
That's correct.
Yes,
Okay.
Cinco de Mayo is about the fight between the Mexican army and the French army in the state of Puebla, in the capital. No? In 1862, there was this fight about the war about Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, there was a battle. Was a battle.
The battle of Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. But it's very worldwide famous, and probably for Mexicans, is not like the Mexican celebration. No? I would say that the Mexican celebration is more is on the 15th of September, which is the day of our fight for independence starts. So this is the big celebration. If you come to Mexico in the 15th of September, it's amazing. And in certain cities in United States where there's a big Mexican crowd, you can see also an amazing festivity of the Mexican heritage. No?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
But Cinco de Mayo, something that happened in Cinco de Mayo that is quite important. The French army came to Mexico to defeat Mexico, to conquer Mexico, and then go through the US. Remember, at that time, they were also in civil war. So the main idea was to get Mexico and then the US. So that's why it's so important. And as Enrique told us, we celebrate the Independence Day in September, the Revolution Day in November, but Cinco de Mayo, you will laugh, but this is the celebration that the US do for the Latins, no? Because this important battle between Mexico and the French army.
Okay. Well, so events are obviously a very important segment of the market. We heard Ernesto talking about the importance of sports tourism. Earlier, we heard about adventure tourism being important. So perhaps, Roberto, if I can just stick with you around changing guests' interests, post-COVID, how has what we as travelers expect from a destination changed? What are we looking for when we are coming to a destination? Is it adventure to break out the bounds of where we were before? Is it sustainability? Is it the ability to work and play? So the ability to remote work while I'm traveling for the 21 days that Enrique suggested that I do. What am I looking for as a traveler?
It's that and more, Natalia, really, because everything has changed. Everything now is new tourism. The thing that was yesterday, today is not, and the thing that is today probably will be the other no for the other day. So we have a mix of everything. The tourism companies really made a huge effort in the pandemic. Really, you go to Quintana Roo and all the owners of the hotels, the resorts, everything, they change tourism the way that we can see. Only to give you an idea, Mexico was only closed for 3 months, and then they opened. They reinvented. They did a fantastic job about that. They were the first to do the protocols. They were the first to investigate, to control many things. So that's something that I really see in the industry, that it's important for everyone. I don't know if you know this, but in the pandemic, many hotels start making like long stays that you can stay 3 weeks, 1 month in the hotel. And these things changed many ways of living. Just to give you an idea, you walk through Mexico City and you will see plenty of Americans. Now they've moved to live to Mexico City because the home office and everything. You walk through different neighborhoods like Condesa, Roma, and you will see plenty. It's a huge. I was laughing the other day because I went to have a dinner with my daughters, and one Constanza, my daughter, came, Papa, we are the only Mexicans in the restaurant. I say, no, I don't believe you. And I start seeing everything, and we were the only Mexicans in the restaurant. It was crazy. So everything changed. Now, really, coming to Mexico is an experience that you will love. You can, as I was telling you, 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks is the dates, but you can come 1 month, 2 months and live the experience, the whole enchilada, no, we say. No, we live all the things that we can manage and all the things that you can see in this country. So that probably will be something that you will see a destination that was always active and continue active. No?
So Ambassador Roberto was talking about the whole enchilada. Hopefully, hopefully you have an opportunity from time to time to fly KLM or Air France back home, and hopefully on a regular basis so that you can enjoy the enchilada. But I'm curious, just on that personal experience as we wrap up, and I'd like to ask each of my panelists maybe to share a personal experience from their side, except for Zila. I don't know if you've been to Mexico before. If you have, please feel free to weigh in. Have you? You're on mute.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to unmute there for a second. Actually, I've been to Cancun. I suppose in South Africa. So I haven't been to Mexico City as yet, but Cancun I absolutely loved. I would recommend that, and I think for all our travel agent on the call itself, from an incentive perspective, I think Cancun really ticks all the boxes and probably one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had. You don't actually have to leave the resort, but it is about experiencing Mexico as well. So leaving the resort is safe. It was really wonderful. I think it's on my bucket list to go to Mexico City. I am a mum of 2 boys, so I definitely will be taking my kids to enjoy everything. So I do believe there's a lot more to offer than what we see, and it is the culturally it's the hand in the glove, and I think we will enjoy what we see there. And from a South African perspective, I think you get value for money. So for me, that's really what I would suggest to all our trade partners in terms of endorsing Mexico and Cancun itself.
Yes, I've also only heard incredible things about Mexico City from friends, and definitely is on my list of places to go. Ernesto, your personal experience, one of your favorite personal travel experiences in Mexico, tell me about that.
Sure. I have the opportunity to organize the Tianguis Turístico, like I said in my intervention. So to organize that trade show all around Mexico in different destinations, it's such of amazing. No, it's the opportunity to show to the world what Mexico and its destinations has to give. So I think every trade show that we organize is different, and it is amazing. This year was in Mexico City. The one year is in Acapulco, and other year is in other destination. Then back to Acapulco, and so Acapulco, it's amazing also. No, it's a great place, worldwide known. So I think every personal trip that I have made, it's amazing about Mexico. So I think the invitation is to come and visit as much as you can.
Enrique.
Yes. Well, I think that one of the best trips that I have is I spent 10 days in Oaxaca, in the city of Oaxaca. And I was with my two teenagers that they were between 14 and 16. And at my very first idea was that they were getting bored because there were too much culture and things like that. But no, I was so amazed that they loved the destination. So we were 10 days in the city of Oaxaca, and we were like every day we were doing different things, like walking in the town, the colonial city, going to different restaurants, visiting the factories of the alebrijes and the ceramics, and we were in the Monte Albán ruins, and I mean it was a hell of a trip. We were in the mezcal factories. It was a very colorful trip, and we were together like exploring the destination, and it was amazing. I really love it. And there was no beach involved, which this is what we usually do every year, like going to the beach in someplace else. But we didn't miss the beach in that particular trip. So if you ever come to Mexico, no matter where your destination will be, try to put a few days in Oaxaca because you're going to love it.
Oaxaca. Okay, got it. Roberto.
That's very difficult for me, really difficult. First of all, I will just want to talk about gastronomy. As Enrique told before, the Mexican gastronomy is one of the top. The most famous plate all around the world is the mole poblano. The finest plate is the chile en nogada. So we have the best gastronomy all around the country. Really, I can tell you every plate in different states, and you will love everything. Then my favorite, as I was telling you, is very difficult because we have 32 states, but I have visited the 32 states of Mexico. Probably with the context of family, the travel that I do with my family, that will be like the best experiences that I have. For many years, always in Day of Death, I go to different states. I go to Michoacán, it's fantastic. I went to Oaxaca, it's fantastic. I went to Puebla, it's incredible also. I went to San Luis Potosí, everything is great. This year I will go to Chiapas. So the experience of these trips probably are the top, because we are all with my brother, with my wife, my daughters, my brothers, my nephews, everyone. So that will be the experiences that I probably recall more in Mexico, no?
Lovely. Ambassador Valdes, tell me, personal experience, something that sticks in your heart.
Yucatan. Mérida, the city of Mérida, it is a beautiful 16th, 17th century city. It is absolutely wonderful. Food is fantastic. People are welcoming, kind, really, really, really a beautiful experience. And from Mérida, you can travel to see a lot of the Mayan heritage, like Palenque or Chetumal, no, sorry, or Palenque, Chichen Itza. I do think it is a beautiful, it was possibly one of my most exciting trips in Mexico. Thank you.
Brilliant. And thank you very much to my panelists for that extremely interesting session today. I just want to read you as a little parting shot before we hand back to Rodrigo, who will do our closing, from Liesl, one of our travel agency friends, who said, "Thank you very much. I loved Mexico. Treasure my beautiful Talavera platters, glass Christmas decorations, and Mexican pewter plates. Such beautiful memories." So thank you, Liesl, for sharing that. And hopefully we will see a lot more South Africans enjoying all of those things that you loved so much. Panelists, again, thank you very much for igniting our interest in Mexico. It certainly has been on my list to visit, and I really appreciate your insights and sharing how diverse the destination is and how easy it is for us to experience as South Africans. Rodrigo, I'm going to hand back to you. The floor is yours.
Well, I don't know. I can only say thank you so much. Muchas gracias, actually, for enlightening us so much. Well, I have traveled several times to Mexico, and I have to share that my favorite place is San Miguel de Allende. But definitely, it's something that we cannot miss. I would like to thank firstly Ambassador Sara Valdes Bolaño for this participation, or the support of the Mexican mission in South Africa, for the distinguished panelists, from the Secretary of Tourism, from the Grupo Posada, Mr. Roberto, who seems a very passionate man about his country, and I congratulate you for that. You're an ambassador of your country on the world, sir. And definitely, once more, Asata today for being with us in this, as usual, in this tour around the globe, where we bring to South Africans close to possible destinations that will become part of their bucket list. So with no further delay, thank you once more, and to our viewers and readers, please don't miss our upcoming series of Around the Globe in 9 months.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.